everyone, this is Locke and I. Welcome back to another video on the Grey Builds YouTube channel. Today's a special day because we're going to be reviewing a very special LEGO set. Now, this is a set that I obtained via one of my relatives giving it to me when I was younger, but it took a while to put the final pieces together and part out the pieces I didn't have yet. So, now let's take a look at the LEGO Pirates Caribbean Clipper set. Now, full disclosure, this set is not technically complete. It's a nightmare to be able to put together LEGO sets with specialized pieces like this from so long ago. I was not able to source the original sticker sheet and was also not able to source the original sails. So those are all both custom done. I'll talk about how I did those custom later in the video. And there's one part of this set that was changed deliberately to make it look better within the context of the set and the city because it will be displayed in my LEGO city. So let's start by talking about this cool set. Starting off with the base of the ship, the hull is made of 3 separate pieces. They're pretty unique molds that were really products of its time. They have similar molds to them now, but they connect with Technic pins now, whereas they connected with just 2x4 bricks back when this set released. And of course we have room for 2 cannons in the front here, and these cannons can be switched from what side you want them to be on, with some flaps that open and close for you to easily close up each side of the ship. These cannons are spring-loaded, and by filling them with 1x1 cylinders, they shoot some little spring-loaded cannonballs, I suppose, which is pretty cool. Now, there's also a treasure chest in the back, and that contains a couple of gold coins. There's a map, which I actually have 2 of, so I put the extra one over by the captain that's just sailing the ship. And there's also this golden cup, which is actually just yellow because they didn't really mold a lot of stuff in gold back when this set released, so it's kind of funny to see that there's just a yellow cup in here. But it's safe to assume that any yellow detailing on the ship is kind of meant to be gold, so that's kind of fun. Now, I will turn the ship around in a bit to showcase some more features, but I did want to go over the sails real quick. These sails are done on canvas, and they have been printed on canvas because it's a nightmare to get these sails in the modern era of LEGO, because even on Bricklink, they either cost a fortune or are just not worth purchasing. So it was easier to come up and make them myself, but there's another reason for why I did that. So I'm going to turn this ship around and I'll explain. So, turning the ship around, you can see that the inside of the sail does not have printing, and this was similar to what Legos looked like when you got it from Lego back in the day. They were not printed on both sides. One side would have the printing, and one side would look a little bit worse. And in my case, I wanted the sail to be facing the opposite direction that the set would normally ask you to have it facing, because I wanted the ship to look good inside the harbor in my LEGO city, and also just because it's easier to print stuff when you have it mirrored. So, the bigger sails remain the same, and I do think they look pretty good. They use these cool little, mixed little ball joint pieces, or tow cable hitches, I guess they would be used for at the time, to, hook the different parts of the sail into place, and I do think it looks really good. And one more thing to point out while we're still on this side is actually this really cool anchor piece, which is not the modern anchor piece used by LEGO sets nowadays. And this was one of the pieces that was really hard to source to find to put this back together. But it does look really cool, and there is a little bit of a gearbox, winder box in there, and that winds and lowers the anchor, which is pretty cool that it has that feature built into it. Now let's flip the ship back around to talk about the rest of the details. Now that we have the ship back in its orientation, which it will be sitting in the LEGO City, we can take a look at some of the cool pieces featured in this set. This set contains a variety of pieces which are either near exclusive or are definitely outdated and not printed in LEGO's mold selection today. Starting with the front, we have this really odd-shaped yellow plate, which is really cool. They don't make these anymore. They were a big thing of Classic Space and Classic Pirates, but they don't really make them anymore, so that's a fun piece, as well as these mast pieces, which are now also considered retired pieces. And there is a larger one and one of the smaller ones, which I had to outsource and get from Bricklink.com. They're not easy to get, and there's different mold variations of them apparently, so I just picked the mold variation that the set required, but If you can't find one the set requires, you could use another mold variation and it probably would do the same thing. So there's that. And also there's this really cool string that goes from the front of the ship, connecting all the flags together, going all the way to the top, and going all the way back down to the bottom on this side. Speaking of the back end of the ship, this is some really clever building techniques used here. They used a bunch of cone pieces and these really cool window pieces with lattice pieces inside. And I think it does a pretty good job of getting the idea of a fancy design for the boat. I also really like these blue pieces used on the side to add a little bit more color. And of course, there's railings on the top of the captain's deck, which is pretty cool. Now, these flag pieces that are on the top are another thing that I had to custom source. You can look up online, like, images of these stickers. There are some places that sell them and other places where you can just, like, find the stickers and print them yourself. So that's what I did. I just custom printed these onto little labels and cut them out and then put them on the proper places. It is pretty cool to see the stickers in place, but one building technique I do want to point out, which is very clever with this set, is this little lance piece that knights would normally wield from castle is being used to extend the mast even higher to connect the flag to it, which is pretty cool. There's additionally some places to attach minifigures onto this lance, as well as this little pole up here, but there's also plenty of space for you to put your minifigures across any of the areas, like this platform up here, any of the areas down here, and towards the back. Now, speaking of minifigures, you do get a pretty good selection of them in this set. You get 4 of these little minifigures total, and they are all Imperial-styled minifigures from the Pirates line. I guess they're the opposing force of the Pirates, but I do like how they look. You have a total of 3 of the generic ones, which just come with a tricorn hat, which is pretty cool, as well as this really cool, like, shoulder pad plating, which is pretty cool. You get 3 of the basic ones. There's 2 more down here. And then the captain, which has yellow instead of red for the shoulder plating, and a really cool captain's hat, which is pretty unique, as well as a unique torso print as well, which is pretty awesome. I gotta say, I really do enjoy all of these different, like, old-style minifigures. They do have some charm to them. And on top of that, you do get a bunch of different accessories for these guys. So you get a total of 3 of these little swords. 2 of them are displayed down here. You also get 1 of these little pistols and 1 of these muskets, which is definitely a product of its time. I don't feel like LEGO would just casually throw those into a set nowadays. So definitely really cool pieces. Now, the one part that I really, really liked about this set and why I decided that I wanted it in my LEGO City is right up at the front, and that's this little area on the front. Normally you would see pirates have like a mermaid or a statue up here, but this boat's different. It's just got a parrot. Now, in the original set, this is supposed to be an all-yellow parrot, and first of all, not worth the shipping cost to ship me in one of those parrots, but also because I really like the blue and yellow on the parrot. It matches the colors of the ship a little bit more. Now, the reason why this boat's a perfect fit for my LEGO City is because in one of my previous LEGO reviews and city updates, I mentioned that the city is taking place on a Ninjago island called Squawk Island, which is known for its parrots. So it's kind of fitting that the pirate ship of military men that live on this island would be having a parrot as the mascot on their ship. Now, this is a very fun set. It does come with quite a few fun details, and it wasn't a fun experience to build. The instructions from sets these times are something else, because they are a lot more difficult to build and have a lot more pieces per step. Now, I did want to mention this at the end of the video, saying that they do sell some of these sets sealed if you are looking for them on Bricklink, but this is not a set that I would recommend just picking up if you're a casual LEGO collector. I would pick it up only if you're specifically looking to collect pirate stuff, or if you just really, really like the look of this set. I personally only started putting this back together because I had most of the pieces for it previously given to me by one of my relatives. So that's basically the reason why I have this in my city, and I did want to do a special review of this because it doesn't deserve just a normal review with the green backdrop. This deserves a review in its place in the LEGO City, where it will forever be in the future. Now, I hope you all enjoyed this video. Stay tuned for some more videos and reviews in the future, and I possibly will be doing more reviews of some older LEGO sets as well in the future. We'll have to see what happens with that. But I hope you all enjoyed this video. Stay tuned for the next one, and I hope you all have a great day.